Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome this audience. Morning, I'm Jenny Taft, alongside Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, and a few people may recognize this guy. We are so lucky to have another Hall of Famer joining us today.
Thank you.
From NFL. This is special. Thank you for being here as well.
Good morning, Miami. And thank you to all the Cowboy fans who showed their faith. Yes.
It doesn't take long to get a Cowboys reference.
Yes. I see the Cowboys fans showed up early for Super Bowl 50 never coming. That's what we look for.
We definitely have a lot to get to today.
Well, fortunately, we have one of the greatest Cowboys sitting right there. Yes.
He's not lying.
And you know who else is stopping by? Michael Irvin will be here. So we're not quite. We're also going to talk about the fact that Skip may think a guy named Dak Prescott is better than Mahomes. And I have a feeling everyone around here has a few things to say about it. But first, we do have to talk about what we saw last night. Super Bowl opening night got underway and the stars were out. We were able to hear from Jimmy G, George Kittle, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, who all seem to be in good spirits as both teams now begin to get laser focused on the game Sunday. Deion, you were there hosting the NFL Network coverage last night and spoke to so many of these guys. In your opinion, which team looked and sounded like they are in the best mental place to win this game?
Both teams look wonderful.
Really?
First of all, the white sweats. I thought Diddy made the outfits for everybody. It's like the
all white party.
Was blowing up. It was all white party.
Except for Kyle Shanahan. He comes out in all sort of
Yeah,
black.
but that's who he is.
Okay.
But that's his persona.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
But you see Andy Reid?
Yeah,
When he
he's
came back
got
in,
the big flower
I thought he was
shirt.
on the beach. Somebody's also on the beach.
He was in his element.
Let me tell you something. These guys are polished. They're seasoned. They're well coached. They're well taught. They're not going to really give you nothing to build on. Both quarterbacks were phenomenal, very professional. And you weigh both teams, it's equality. I can't lean either way at this point. Both teams are really poised and they really are focused. That's what I garnished from last night.
I agree. It came off beautifully. As usual, you were sometimes better than the guy you were interviewing with your questions. But there was one fascinating exchange that caught my eye and ear with your man, Richard Sherman. You have been a mentor to him, sort of a guiding light to him. And you jumped in and said, man, I called you, but I was too late.
Yeah.
Could you explain? Because obviously last week, Richard went at it with Darrelle Revis again via Twitter, but you had called Richard to say, don't do it. Leave it alone this time, right?
Let's preface it. Darrelle Revis went at Richard.
He started it, yes.
And I don't know why. I love both of them. Revis, God, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
He's a dog. He's a baller's baller. He's a corner's corner. It's no reason to shoot at Richard.
Right.
Richard, man, his game is patterned a little different than ours were. But to his rightfulness, he's a dog. He's a bona fide baller, and he's done it over with longevity. So I said, look, man, don't go back and forth. This is your moment. This is your light.
Right.
Let it shine. And he just couldn't help himself. He had to shoot back, and he shot.
Okay.
And he shot
Just
back.
for the record, the big picture record, Richard actually did start this all the way back in 2012. It's old news now, but I get where you were going.
Bring it to me. Bring me back up to speed. I'm not aware of that.
Richard started to attack Darrelle back in 2012, saying when he was hurt.
Remember ACL.
Yeah, remember he was out. And Richard said, when you return to the field, you will be irrelevant. So they were going back and forth that way. Remember when Richard was going after Tom Brady and a lot of the receivers? He went after everybody. He sort of talked his way into a household name in 2012.
Well, he had the ball too now. You can't just
He
talk.
was starting to.
You got to walk it like you talk it.
You do.
Yeah, right.
I agree with you. But put in perspective, How do you view Richard as a strictly zone corner when obviously you were the greatest ever at traveling?
Yeah, I don't view him as a strictly zone corner. I view him as a corner who played very well in what he was asked to do. You got another dog on the other side in Seattle for a myriad of years. They didn't flip, they didn't flop. That secondary was bona fide, one of the best to ever be assembled.
Right.
So I don't view him as that. I view him as a guy who did exactly what they asked him to do and then did more than that.
Okay.
And that's what is hard for people to understand. When they see Revis travel.
Right.
You travel. Sherman didn't travel. But it's like, well, Sherman's not traveling, therefore he can't be as good. But he was great at what he was asked to do.
But Sherman's not traveling because he doesn't want to.
Correct.
He's not saying, hey, man, I'm not doing that.
Right.
He's not doing that.
Right.
That's the difference. I've seen some guys and I ain't doing that. I'm not going on the other side. I know some guys in this game would not travel.
Or go in the slot.
Exactly.
Nobody really,
I want to go in the slot.
Okay.
Going in there.
The slots are different than them.
Could Richard have traveled, especially earlier in his career, and been as
Yes.
you know, he's not Deion because there's never been another Deion.
And it won't be.
Okay, thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Deion, if we could take you back a few years to the height of your playing days, and you face this team, would you take Tyreek? Again, sometimes he's going to line up in the slot, but would you take him everywhere?
I want their dog.
Okay.
I would want their dog.
All right.
But I got to do it in the understanding of the defense, what we're trying to accomplish. It does us no good to have a personal vendetta and personal battle, and I win, but the rest of the team is losing. It don't make sense.
Right.
So if they could just single me out, put me on Tyreek, and then you got one-on-one backside with Sammy. They have 3 1s, man.
Right.
These guys have 3 1s on this.
And then what you can do with Travis Kelce.
I watched them practice this Friday in Kansas City, and let me tell you something, man. You know, as an analyst, as a football guy, you try not to fall in love with the last woman that you were just with. You know? Let me keep this on television.
Yeah, we get
I'm sorry,
it.
my mind just, you know. But you have a tendency and a propensity to just adore that team. And it was so easy. When you see Mahomes throwing the ball 50, 60 yards and sprinting down the field to greet him in the end zone, even at practice, it was unbelievable. These guys are really good. They play at their speed, they practice professionalism, they practice, that ball is coming out, the ball is not touching the ground. It's a quick pace. These guys are going to get it. I loved it. Boy, I cannot wait to see how San Francisco is poised to stop this offense.
What are you gonna do?
You gotta pick your poison.
You gonna bump Tyreek?
No, man. I'm gonna make them do something they don't want to do in this run the football. I gotta make them run I'm going double-double. I'm doubling Tyreek, and I'm doubling Kelce, and everybody else, you better hunt. You man-to-man.
Okay, but if you're Deion Sanders, you don't need to double Tyreek, right?
No, but it ain't but one prime.
Okay.
I'm here. So
By the way, at your peak, were you faster than Tyreek?
You can't say clock. We got to stop thinking about the clock. We talking about the field.
Yes.
It's a lot of fast guys, but they don't do it on the field.
They don't play fast.
They don't play fast, and it ain't like that. Going to get the ball, that was going to be a party. Like, it was no one faster than Jerry Rice going to get the ball, and Jerry ran a 4.6 on clock. But on man, he was about a 4.1 on man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on clock, you were 4.2.
For breakfast.
Last week, you made a powerful comment. The Hall of Famer across from me and I discussed it here on Undisputed, and he found himself in a tricky spot because he's obviously in the Hall of Fame.
Together.
Yes, together. There you go. But it was about Eli Manning's Hall of Fame credentials.
Wow.
And your quote was, "I'm not so sure what being a Hall of Famer means anymore." And you went on to say, "You're supposed to change the position you played to become a Hall of Famer. I am 1,000% with you. My golden rule is if I have to think twice about you, you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame." Is he a Hall of Famer? Well, he's out. Deion, yes, Deion was a Hall of Famer. He was a 0 ballot Hall of Famer, not first. He's just in the Hall of Fame. So you were conflicted about Eli because he was a 500 quarterback who led the league in interceptions 3 times. Last 8 years he started, they make the playoffs 1 time. He had 2 magical Super Bowl runs. We know that, and he beat Tom Brady twice. So expand, if you would, to Shannon here about your convictions about this.
What is a Hall of Fame? Like when we grew up, Hall of Famer was somebody who changed the darn game that you wanted to go purchase a ticket to go see them play individually. They were special. They was set aside. You wanted to see them practice, not only play. You couldn't wait to see them amongst town and say, oh man, there goes Shannon Sharpe right there. Oh my God, I can't wait to see him play. It ain't like that no more.
No.
It's Tom, Dick, and Harry and Larry getting in the Hall of Fame now, man. And I hate to be that guy to sit up there and say, I don't know about that. It's some guys that the game has changed. Even the Pro Bowl has changed. Back in the day, man, making a Pro Bowl was something to behold. And then when we went to practice, we went at it. Like, hey, you ain't gonna catch no ball on me over here, because you catch the ball over me over here, you're gonna think you can do it over there. So I'm not gonna even let you do it over here. It's different. Now they playing flag. They have no passion for this thing. And we've taken that to the Hall of Fame. Just because we get, how many get in every year? Well, they letting everybody and their mama in right now this year. 30.
They let 30 and not 20.
20. However many we get in. Like if we say, for instance, we have 10. You don't have to pick 10 just because they're telling you 10. If it ain't 10 dogs out there, don't pick a cat. And that's what they're doing.
Beautiful.
And it upsets me right now because some of these guys ain't changed the game. It's supposed to be game changers.
You and I had a lot of conversation, and I used to weigh in an awful lot about players, this guy's better than that guy, and you pull me to the side. He says, like, when you do that, you know when you say this, your word holds extra credibility.
It does.
So they're going to take it personal. For me being in the Hall of Fame, Skip, when people ask me what should he or should he not be, they don't just say Shannon Sharpe. They said Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe says he doesn't think. So now this guy think, his family, his friends think, well, Shannon says he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I got to vote. All I'm saying is that I thought if you had to be an all-decade player, you had to be a player that the game that when you talk about, like, okay, there's no doubt. In the 90s, how do you talk about the position without talking about me?
Right.
I was the guy.
You're right.
But now it's like, well, he played a long time. Well, he had 200 straight starts. Okay. If I collect cans every day for 20 years, I'm gonna have a bunch of cans, but I ain't got a whole lot. But that seems to be where their head is, Skip, and I hate to say it. And it's like, I don't really talk a whole lot about it, but I do believe my brother is worthy of being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All your brothers should have been. See, y'all clapping because it's a great statement. I'm clapping because I played against him. And his brother was a dog. First of all, if you bump him, he gonna manhandle you and beat you down. If you back off, if he catch it and face you up, you got some problems. So his brother was a dog that you did not want to deal with. And how in the world is he not? And you got some busters in the Hall of Fame and he ain't? I don't understand. And when it comes to Eli, I love me some Eli. Eli should get in the way it's going right now. Yep. Okay, let's just put that clear. I love me some Eli Manning. I really do. In the way it's going right now, yeah, you darn Skippy, he's supposed to get in.
But,
you know.
By the way, for some reason, it took you 3 tries to get in the Hall of Fame, and it brought you some humility and compassion for those who are on the bubble, and so you kind of bleed for them because you know what it feels like to get left at that altar.
I do, Skip, because here's the thing. Like, when I got left out and everybody was like, and I was disappointed because I thought I had done enough, but there was somebody else that had been to 7, 8, 9 Pro Bowls that didn't get in. There's some other all-decade player that didn't get in. And so I understand. But you can't say, well, he had to wait, so we're going to make this guy. I don't believe it should be like that time. Right. If a guy's worthy of going in, put the guy in. Well, we can't put 3 receivers in. Why not?
Why not?
We can't put 3 this guys in because why you can't? If it's all receivers, it's all receivers. If it's all tight ends or quarterbacks, so be it.
Skip, it's just like the 100 list. How do we talk about this guy being one of the top 100 and this guy not? That list is a little shaky too.
It was.
Yeah, it's a little shaky. It goes, and then why it always got to be 100 quarterbacks? Every quarterback wasn't that darn good. No. Why does it have to be? Why does the quarterback get the preference in all the sports, even with salaries? That's the only thing I hate about our beloved game, and I love everything about our game. But it's no way. In basketball, the guard, the forward, the center makes the same amount of money. Baseball,
if he's
the
equally as
pitcher,
good.
catcher, left fielder, everybody makes the same amount of money. Football, the quarterback makes this, then everybody else makes that. It don't make sense to me.
Although it is, to me, the hardest position to play in
Yes,
sports.
but you're not $20 million better than me, and I'm on the same field. I'm on the same field.
Okay. Unfortunately, you have no perspective because you were by far the greatest to ever play your position.
Yeah, but just because. You're right. But just because I'm on the defensive side of the ball, that should not substantiate that I'm still as valuable as that.
Okay.
Because you give me one me and you give me one that, you ain't trying to see me. But I'm trying to see that.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to this football game at hand. You also watched, let's see, you were watching Kansas City practice. So you also watched the Kansas City defense practice because last night you had another man that you love, nicknamed Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And he is your little man. And he is a little man, but he's got the biggest heart and the greatest instincts I think I've seen this side of prime as far as nose for football.
Yes.
And you said he practiced
like
at this like relentless rage pace, right? Where he was just practicing like it was game day, right?
Right. Then he's a starter, and he goes over to the sideline with the defensive coordinator. They have this pad out, and he's jumping and diving at balls, practicing interceptions diving.
Really?
A starter.
Wow.
All-pro. Diving at balls in practice to make sure he catches them in the game if that situation occurs. Tyrann Mathieu, when I went to see him work out, he was working out with Patrick Peterson, and he had a troubled past coming out of college. And I went and sat down with him, and I realized that there's a honey badger and there's a Tyrann Mathieu. And he got caught up in the honey badger, and the enormity of it just blew up, and he wasn't able to maintain who he really was and understand his identity. I called several teams. I said, man, draft that kid. That kid is a dog. Please draft this kid. And they passed. The rest is history. What he has brought to the Kansas City Chiefs in the secondary has propelled them to be who they are defensively. Defensively, this is one of the best teams in the second half of the season. Correct. Defensively, and it's all because of that dude there. We're going to add in Terrell Suggs, what he brings to the team in the meeting rooms as well. They had to step it up. But what he brings to that team on the defensive side of the ball is what Mahomes brings to that team on the offensive side of the ball. He's just that valuable, and he's a bona fide difference maker. It is no position he can't play defensively. Correct. You could put him up in the box, you could put him at free, you could put him in the slot, you can even put him on corner in some situations. And he can go one-on-one with a tight end and shut him down if you need him be, and they may need that to happen in this particular game.
They're definitely going to need that. He has the greatest instincts. There's a play in Houston, and they're going two by one, and he takes one up the seam. Now, he knows that they're just running one to try to get him to clear because they're going to run that number 2 dagger, and he peels back. He doesn't pick it, but he almost does.
Yeah.
That was one of the best plays that I've seen all year long. Let me ask you a question. How did you obviously have the man, but there are some times that you weren't always playing man. Did you pattern read? Did you formation read? How did you go about
That's
that?
film study. You know what's going to happen before it happens.
Right.
Now you're just in the situation. And when you see it before it happens, first of all, the lineman and assignment is going to tell the tale. Right. Down in distance as well. And he knows that stuff. This guy studies like a dog. He reminds me of an Ed Reed with his study habits. Yes. Ed was a dog, unbelievable ball instinct and all of that. And Tyrann Mathieu has those intangibles.
So now for my favorite pet question of the day from Mr. Sanders. How did my Dallas Cowboys go 8-8 last year, please?
He had to.
I like it. I like it. Let's get off the Jason Garrett bulletin board.
Blame game.
And blame game. Because soon as later it has to go to the field. You have to have those type of guys that are willing to go to the next mile and make a play and be a dog. You got some guys complaining they ain't sacking quarterbacks. You got some guys complaining, they ain't getting no interceptions. You got some guys complaining, they ain't not stretching the field and getting vertical. And he don't like it, but I text him every time I see him on TV. Dak is balling. I like me some Dak.
Thank you.
I love me some Dak.
Thank
you can
you.
say what you want. You can do what you want. You know how I feel about me some Dak.
I do.
I love me some Dak. I love me some Dak. Now the offensive line, How can you send 3 of those guys to the darn Pro Bowl and they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing? I don't understand it whatsoever. Now, if the offensive line was that bona fide that features 3 Pro Bowlers, shouldn't you be able to run at will with one of the best and arguably the best running back in football? But you can't. So what's the problem?
Explain that
So
to
the
me.
problem is not Jason Garrett, who is gone, but the play caller is still there. So the problem is the personality of this team and the makeup and the composite of this team. It ain't no Michael Irvin out there, just demanding this and demanding that football. And when it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 10, he's gonna get it.
You got Amari. He's your number 1.
Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it?
You traded the first round.
Is he gonna get it? Okay. Who in the secondary is a ball hawk? Who is a dog? Who's gonna make a play? I got time.
But here's the thing, though, Time. I get all that. Yes, the defense, I believe, underperformed. But you can't score 10 points against Teddy Bridgewater on the road against New Orleans. You can't score 9 points against the Eagles. When they're back, they got practice squad guys making plays against you. You can't score 9. You can't score 9 against New England. I need more. You can't get 17 against Buffalo on Thanksgiving. Because you look like the turkey.
Well, everybody you just mentioned, excluding New Orleans, featured a really good defense, Shannon.
Oh, well, you say Dak balling. What ball?
They really,
Ball. Yeah, yo guy. He's supposed to be balling, Skip.
yes, he is. But you can't point that to Jason Garrett. You got to point that to personnel.
I've been trying to tell him.
I don't feel like they have the right personnel to command what they desire to have. They don't have it.
Why don't they have it?
They don't have it. It's not in locker room.
Dak Prescott said he want $37 million. Ain't gonna
He's supposed to get it. He's supposed to get it.
Jerry wanted him to take a discount.
Carson Wentz got it.
Jared Goff.
Got it.
Yep.
And Dak ain't gonna get it? First of all, why do Dak have to fight for it? And they got it.
Hey.
You want to put the stats on TV and compare the 3?
I like it.
He got it. He should get it.
And you know,
he shouldn't have to fight for it.
And you know franchise tag make enemies. You know that, of course, coming for Dak. Franchise tag make enemies.
It shouldn't.
Ain't none of my business, though.
That shouldn't come from Dak. But I tell you what, if I were Dak, Skip, I would just sit back in my recliner and wait. Because that boy in Kansas City, what I just saw at practice, and talking to everybody within the complex about the character he possesses and who the guy is on the field,
he gonna get 40 million.
And the leader. Yes, right.
He gonna get 40 million.
Dak, wait, sit in your rocking chair and get your remote control and wait, because you could just come in right behind that.
And Deshaun Watson up, too.
Right. So I wait.
Yeah, you said they're all overpaid, these quarterbacks, right?
Not those guys. Not those guys. Those other guys that ain't won nothing is.
Real quick before we let you go, Michael Irvin's about to join us. The greatest individual battle I ever personally witnessed was after the 1994 season, your first season with the 49ers.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you jump up 21-0 on Dallas in the NFC Championship game, and it degenerated into a one-on-one battle between you and 88 for the Dallas Cowboys.
Somewhat.
A lot.
No, this was the scheme. They would double Mike, and we're going to single Alvin.
Yep.
And Merton Hanks has Jay Novacek. That was the scheme. But when we went man, I'm going to go see Mike, and we still going to kind of lean the safety to Alvin Harper, because if you understand, Alvin Harper was the guy
could get behind
the deep threat
that beat them several times to propel them into the championship. So that was the scheme. That 8-8 over there, he played his butt off that game.
Did.
Let me tell you something. And we had such a personal battle. It was no talking. It was no naysaying each other. It was a physical, personal battle, but it was a thinking battle. Like, I knew when he came out the huddle, he did certain things, I knew what he was going to do. And he knew what I was going to do. And he would play these mind games. I would jog around the field when I came out because I wanted everybody to see me. I wanted him to see me. I would kneel down right by the punters and say, boy, if you kick that, it's going to be a birthday. I would jog by Troy Aikman and just tap him on the shoulder and smile, you know. But I passed by Mike, and Mike said, you look like you lost a little weight. I said, that ain't gonna work today, baby. but that's the mental games that we play with one another. Yeah, that's the mental games. And he went out there, I think he went for 221 yards, something like that, right, Mike? 200-some yards. He had a wonderful day.
And by the way, it was pass interference late in the game.
It wasn't no pass interference. It wasn't no pass. Hey, Mike, come here. Let me show him what we did. We got time. Come here, Mike. Let me show him what it was. Let me show you what it was. Let me show you what it was. We were going up the sideline. This way. No. No, I got right there and I look back. I got right there and I look back. Now, how can you get
right?
No,
Oh my
that's real
God.
football. How can you get the arm up? He cannot get the arm up. That's not an arm bar.
illegal.
I got right there. Right there.
The arm had started coming up, and he grabbed the arm.
You need to let that go. Let that go, man. Hey, y'all need to let that go, man.
Deion,
He got his
if only
kids.
we could keep you all day.
He got his kids thinking that. I saw his wife in the mall. She said, "You know, you held my baby back."
So good. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the stories. Really appreciate your time. You can catch Deion on Game Day Prime after the game on Sunday.
No mercy.
And Super Bowl opening night was last night, and it had plenty of fun moments. Jimmy G, George Kittle, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and more shared the spotlight and answered some crazy questions as well. Kittle even joked that Jimmy G was the worst texter he knows. Interesting stuff there. We are now joined by NFL Network analyst and Hall of Famer Michael Irvin. So good to have you with us. You can see him on Super Bowl Sunday on NFL Game Day morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We are so glad to have you. And
Yes.
we loved what we just saw moments ago as well.
Game day morning, just watch. You just watch. We'll be there all day. All day. We're on all day long.
I like that.
You know, wake up, watch us. Go do what you got to do. Come back and watch us. Take a little nap. Wake up and watch us.
You'll be there?
We will be on all day long. But it's all football, so it's all good.
Well, we loved watching you last night. So many great interviews with so many of these players. You got to talk to a lot of guys. In your opinion, who is in the better mental place to win this weekend?
You know what? In both of those teams, they were pretty, for teams that are fresh here, they were both pretty loose. You know what I mean? And I think that brings good things to all of us, that everybody plays loose. Because I remember, Shannon, when we were here, we were practicing and we were loose. We played our best game. Right. You know, and I'll just tell you right now, I don't necessarily, and you can say it's part of my history, I don't necessarily believe in all of that. Everybody, we're going, and this is a business trip only. Stop it. Man, I worked hard to get here. Let me go out here Sunday night and Monday night, and these people pat me on the back a little bit. Let me get my my amen, and then I'll tune in Tuesday night right after I get all my pats on the back from the community. I've earned this spot. Let me go and enjoy this spot. I'll get right back to football, because I do believe, like Jimmy used to believe, get that out your system so you can focus, as opposed to thinking about it all week long and trying to monopolize your mind like it does not exist.
By the way, I was there for your third Super Bowl in Phoenix. I was there for all of them, but you guys went out on the town the first couple of nights in Phoenix and Scottsdale, and you pretty much tore that town up.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
It worked.
Get it in early, buddy. Get it in early. Really, because then you can focus in. If you don't, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm saying I focus, but I'm wondering, oh, man, what did I miss out there? You know, what's going on? Wonder what they doing. They're calling people, dog, what was it? What was it like last night? Man, I wish I would have seen. You know what I'm saying? Get it out your system, man. Then I can focus on that.
And by the way, when it was time to play, the game was a mismatch. You guys just laid it all over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
All right, back to this game. There's a collection of wide receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs unlike any we've probably seen. Is it the greatest collection maybe of speed plus ability that you've ever encountered?
Right, now, let's be careful here, because we use this word greatest around so many things. Now, if you want to put, is it the fastest? On a track meet, you may be right there, because I don't know that I've seen this kind of speed on a football team. But the greatest capsize everything. It's not just a straight ahead speed. It's making plays. It's making the big plays. And they have made some big plays. I will call them the fastest, but I wouldn't put that word greatest on them.
I agree. I think they're the fastest. I think they might pose one of the biggest matchups because of what they have at the speed position. Right. And then they have the first or second best tight end in all of football. He's a nightmare.
Man, now listen, both of these guys told
Both of them.
I love them.
I love both of them too, man. And I got to sit down with George Kittle last week, man. And just his personality. I love his heart, his soul for the football team, the way he plays, the tenacity with which he plays, man. But it'll be it's a hard stop. And I always say this to Shannon, to people. It's more difficult to stop the great wide receiver with the great tight end than it is to stop two great wide receivers.
Yes. Yeah, good point.
Because you can do so many things that you cannot cover when there's a great wide receiver and a great tight end. Like line them up on the same side. If you're doubling the receiver, that means you got a linebacker on the tight end. I get trip sets one side and put a tight end out
backside
by himself. You got to show your hand. You got to you got to play at zone. Then you got an inside receiver on a linebacker, or you got to put a linebacker out on. It's so many ways, and Andy Reid uses it perfectly, man, to master it.
So I'm going to disqualify myself before I ask this question because I am your biggest fan and everybody knows it. And I've said many times, you, to me, were the greatest wide receiver ever. No disrespect to Jerry Rice. I'm talking this. Thank you. But this is about, I covered your teams. I know what happened when it was 3rd and 8, and it was 20 degrees in Washington or Philly and New York or New Jersey. It's 8 to 88, and 88's going to get open by hook or crook. You might have to bump them off you, but you're going to get free.
Crook. I like that. Hook, crook, anything.
However you're going to do it, you're going to get open. But you weren't a blazer when it came to speed. No. You just got open. Put that in context for me versus Tyreek, who's just blazing. And I'm not saying he's not a good route runner because he clearly is. But
well, blazing speed and has been giving all the rules to help him with that speed. You know, when we played, there was a thing called courage. Courage does not say fear did not exist, folks. Let me give you some lessons here. Courage said you had an ability to overcome your fears. And so when you play football, you had to display courage. Oh, I know I'm about to get hit in the head when I go up at this ball, so I got to go have courage. Now, that is gone. I can run fast as I want to run through a zone, no matter. You can't touch me until after I catch the ball and come down. Even if you hit me while I'm going after, it's called defensive receiver. Just so you know, I would love to have played in a defensive receiver. You got to wait till I come down to hit me. You know, there's a reason they call that the bang 8 when we ran it. That means, and there's a reason.
As soon as you called it.
Right. Soon as you catch it, it means it's going to be bang, bang. That's what they mean. They would be in the huddle and call a play and look at it and say, let's kill Mike. Okay, Mike, you can't run this play. Got to call a timeout to get Mike in here. Somebody going to get hit and we don't want to hurt you. Wait a minute. What is this? So absolutely, there's a lot of advantages that these guys have. And with that kind of speed and those advantages, it makes it difficult to stop those guys.
But also the guy that's pulling the trigger. You got Patrick Mahomes, who might be
just a beast, man.
And I told Skip, look, the greatest throwers of the football that I've ever seen, and we played in the era with Dan, and we covered Dan Marino. And we've covered it, watched Aaron Rodgers. But when it's all said and done, I'm not so sure Patrick Mahomes won't hold that title. There's not a throw he can't make from the pocket, on the move, and he can throw for distance and accuracy.
And the game keeps evolving. All games keep evolving. You remember back in the day, man, we watched Pistol Pete Maverick dribble that ball with one hand. He was a master. That one little hand, he never took that ball in the hand. Now look at how they dribbling the ball, man. I mean, what? The perfect shot. You had the perfect form, Larry Bird shot. Steph Curry barely touching the ball, and it's just gone. You know what I'm saying? And Patrick Mahomes has done that to the quarterback position. Get balanced, sit up, throw the ball. You know, so the game keeps evolving, really, and it's incredible, man. It's incredible. So the athletes are they're better, they're getting better each and every year, and they're taking the game to new levels, doing things we didn't think about. The one-handed catch. We used to put one hand up to knock the ball back to catch it. Now they just snatching it. Zoo. I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
We needed those gloves, though.
Yeah, that too. I'm trying to save the game in the people, but I wish we had those gloves. But they're phenomenal athletes.
But you do know this game. It can't be Patrick Mahomes versus Jimmy Garoppolo. It's got to be the 49ers running game versus Patrick Mahomes. You don't want a one-on-one battle says, okay, Jimmy, you got to throw it 50 times because we got to match Mahomes throwing it 50 times.
You lose right away like that if you're San Francisco. You lose right away. But if you're also San Francisco, I think the gauntlet that they've gone through, Skip, is going to help them a great deal. This game is going to be won even though San Fran will be able to run the ball, Jimmy G will have to make that last drive to win this game. You're not running away from Kansas City. You're just not doing it. Kansas City scored 7 straight drives in a game. And I'm telling you, if I was playing defense on that team against Kansas City, I would have gone in the office the next day and turned my pass in to my coach and said, hey, don't worry about cutting me, I quit. They scored 7 straight times on me, man. I got to go home and deal with that dude when I put toothbrush to tooth in the mirror. I can't have this, I quit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just, you're not running away from Kansas City. You're going to have to make that play in the end.
So there is one potential antidote to Patrick Mahomes. He plays for the 49ers, and he is dear to your heart because he went to your high school here in Fort Lauderdale.
Bad boy, man.
Nick Bosa went to St. Thomas Aquinas, where you went, and you would like to have seen him matriculate to the U, where you went to school here at University of Miami. And he went up to Ohio State, and you were talking to him last night. How could you do that to us, right?
We've let so much great talent get out of here, man. Right? If we just filled the team just from here, right now, we're winning championship after championship. But Nick Bosa, man, what a phenomenal dude he is, man. And he's a great kid. I watched him in high school, and to see what he's doing right now. And you're right, Skip. If this dude right here can get Patrick Mahomes, they have a real shot at making it happen. Now, he has to go with Fisher over there. That's going to be a good battle.
Yes.
That's going to be a good battle, man. But I put my money on Bosa because he has a motor. He's strong. He's a complete package, man. I really love watching that kid play.
So I got to ask you my pet question that I asked Mr. Sanders before you. How in the world did my Dallas Cowboys go 8-8?
Yeah. You said I heard you several times. Yeah. We going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I did too, man. Let me tell you something, man, too. This game is so hard. You can't come up in September and make that decision that you're going to go to a Super Bowl. This thing has to start back in March when you're hanging out together. And I felt last year the Cowboys had a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of money and a little bit of talk about love for a game and winning championships. And I believe that carried over into the football season. And it measured out as 8-8. Your heart has to be in it. Your mind has to be in it. It can't just be your pocket and you expect to win great games.
I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but you're an 8-8 football team. You could have started talking about this in February. You're 8-8. That's what you are. And you blame Jason Garrett. And they got Red fired because every time they lose, it's his fault. But when they won, he got no credit.
Yeah, and they gave. Now listen, let me tell you something. There's some growing pains there because when you start seeing when they had first year Kellen Moore, the first thing jumped out great, started out great, and everybody throwing the ball away. I got so upset that they started talking. Maybe this ought to be a passing team. I'm like, no. No, it should be through Zeke.
Thank you.
It has to go through Zeke. And I'm talking about through Zeke to the place where it's first down and you get 1 yard. 2nd and 9, come back and hand it to him again. I don't care. Ain't no Mike Irvin on the field right now. Hand it to him again. If Mike Irvin was on the field, then you drop back and throw the ball. But since he's not, you hand it again. You see they do that with that motor in Tennessee. That motor, they hand it to him on 2nd and 9, and that motor runs right over you. I'm gassing up. That's what we need to be doing.
Y'all got Amari Cooper?
Yeah, we got Amari. And Amari's a good player now. We love Amari. Amari's a good player. But still, the base has to be 2-1. Just like in our days, the base was 2-2. You know, but 2-2 became a great finisher after Mike done did that boom, 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 boom thing on you. Then we gave it the 2-2, and he will finish the game. These Cowboys right here have to go through Ezekiel Elliott to be successful.
Although the Zeke who came back from Cabo did not look exactly like the Zeke I saw a year ago. It took him a while to get in game shape, running shape, and there were moments I saw some old Zeke, but there are a lot of moments where I couldn't find him.
And Skip, I watch you guys, and I've heard you say that sometime during the season, and I said to myself, I'm with you on that somewhat, but I also lay some of those crumbs on that offensive line. it's not the same offensive line it was.
They talk about it like it is.
I know.
They get paid like it is.
But I understand that. But they have to come back and do a little soul searching too to find their greatness too and get back.
Well, help me understand this. How you gonna go ask a man for $90 million and then you got to play your way into shape in the football season?
Because this game here, now, first of all, his success is dependent on others also. Because there's no individual isolated success in this game.
Yeah, we understand
in all these other games, there are. So his success is dependent on how other guys play. I thought he wasn't where he, because he did start running the ball better, but I didn't think he was in horrible shape. And I felt that they needed to get him going a little bit, and it just lasted too long in the season. And by the time they got confidence in him, they had already turned away and started going to Dak Prescott. And they moved the ball up and down the field. But when you don't have that solid run game, you can get hurt.
You
in
move the
red
ball
zone.
up and down the field when you're down 28. When you're down 24. What happened when you're close nip and tuck ball games, Mike? Where'd you move the ball then?
They had some close nip and tuck ball games.
And you lost
the ball. They just couldn't move the ball, get the ball. They couldn't get it in the end zone.
You lost
12-10.
You lost 12-10 to Teddy Bridgewater. You scored 9 points against
Philly. You know and understand. You know how hard it is to win in New Orleans, to play in New Orleans. That's the roughest place I ever played.
Minnesota win that.
That's rough for play. Yeah,
the Atlanta Falcons did it.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it?
And all of them you talking about is sitting in the audience too. Yeah. Minnesota and Atlanta, they still sitting here right with Dallas. So it's not like they're in.
But who we talking about? Who we talking about? Atlanta going to the Super Bowl this year?
There were people talking about Atlanta.
There were people.
Oh my God! You don't think Atlanta thought they were going to the Super Bowl? Yes, they did.
They don't think after 28-3, they don't think they're going back anytime soon.
You want to talk about a receiving group? Now, Atlanta has a receiving group, too, now.
You try to shift the blame.
So they got talent.
But they don't got 3 offensive linemen that's in the Pro Bowl. That's at the top paid in their position. The top paid running back. A $15 million receiver. And a quarterback that says, I want $37 million. And who, I'm trying to figure out. Now, which is America's team?
They got those guys.
America's team.
They just hadn't gotten it.
America's team need to be in America's game, which is right here today.
Hey, man, I don't disagree. I'm with you on that, man. I don't disagree on that.
Speaking of receivers, I love Amari Cooper, but I did not love what happened when he went away from Dallas. When he's on the road at New England, you cannot wave out of the game because Stephon Gilmore is being tough on you. He went over there and pouted, stood on the sideline. At Philly, he got yanked. He got yanked because his heart wasn't in the game.
How you get pulled from the game? You the number one. Yeah, they say we better off without you.
There's some things that going on around here that I don't understand. And sometimes when people ask me about it, I say there's no reference in my spirit to draw from. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like how do somebody asked me the other day, could you win? Could you play on a team that threw the ball 8 times? I say, yes, as long as they throw all 8 to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean all 8. No, I mean all 8. You throw all 8, and then we're okay. We ain't got no problem. But if you coming in here and you gonna throw 8 times and talking about disperse it amongst everybody, we ain't gonna be doing that. We're not gonna be doing that. You can't have me in a game with the game on the line, and I'm sitting over here with you. Man, you gotta cut me. Because even if you say stay right here, I'm saying, Coach, we're gonna be playing with 12 on the field. You know what I'm saying? You either pull somebody else off, or we just keep getting flags because I'm not leaving. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So those are new things to me, man. So it's hard for me to reference to them, especially when you're talking about the game's on the line, you win this game. It's not just a win. You're in the playoffs.
With a home game.
You're in the playoffs with a home game. Man, my mama couldn't have stopped me from being on that football field. And God rest her soul.
So, thank you. I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this, but I want to just get it on the record. Is Dak Prescott capable of winning a Super Bowl?
Absolutely, Dak is capable of winning the Super Bowl. You know, and I've always said this, the greatest thing that New England has experienced for years is not just Tom Brady's play, but Tom Brady as the heart and soul of that team. Now you're getting that play and that leadership, that quality from the quarterback position. When he says, let's go, everybody really let's go. And Dak Prescott has some of that in him. So absolutely, he can win a Super Bowl, but he needs the help around him. He needs the right coaching. He needs the right players to stand up and make those plays, and I think he'll get that.
Why hasn't Jerry given that man his money?
I think it takes two to tango.
What you mean it takes two?
It takes two to tango. Jerry wants to pay him.
No, Jerry wants to pay him less than market value.
No. Jerry wants to pay him, but he has agents that also want their name out there as the biggest contract in quarterback history. I love that. If for one thing, I can tell that you're fourth rounder now. Your fourth rounder.
I know. I played on that contract, made $2 million in 4 years. Now, I'm a franchise quarterback. I need franchise quarterback money.
And I'm telling you, and they got franchise quarterback money waiting on you. What I would tell Dak is, you go to that agent and say, I know you're trying to make a name for yourself. We're going to do that on the next contract.
Whoa.
Right now, I'm taking my money right now. Whoa. Listen, that injury Dak hit with his shoulder, that could have been devastating. It could have been, if Dak would have torn that shoulder up, now you just dropped on $150 million and your fourth-round pick. You put that $150 in the bank, and we can play tit for tat on the next contract.
No.
I'm going to put this one in the bank.
I like that. I agree.
The very reason that you said that it can end in an instant is why I'm going to get maximum dollar. Yeah, I'm going to get every dollar. Because guess what? You could have signed him before Jared Goff.
Yes, but listen, look at what you're risking. You're talking about the end game. I'm talking about what you're risking trying to get to the end game.
He's there.
And
He's a free agent. I'm here. I'm in the clubhouse.
Right. But okay, now he goes back next year and he plays on a franchise tag.
Oh, I love franchise tag.
He makes 1 year. He gets 1 year of that money, and he goes through a devastating injury because Dak at the end of the year started trying to run more to prove that I'm the man.
No, because Skip Bayless and y'all wanted him to run more. I
want him to run more. Yeah. I want him to run more, but I want him to run with a little money in his pocket so he can feel a little more comfortable.
Hey, they say, with Dak trying to give him a discount, he said, I gave you a 4-year discount. When I was a fourth-round pick, I only made $2 million over those 4 years. But Jared Goff got $28 million. So guess what? If you think I'm going to take less than Jared Goff, then I got 2 divisions. You think I'm going to take less than Carson Wentz? I want $140 million guaranteed with $100 million signing bonus.
And I think Jared give him good money.
No, I don't talk about no good money.
I bet he'll be above those guys. Now the fight ain't to get him above those guys. Yeah. The fight is to keep him from shattering wherever Russell Wilson is at 35. We want to call it 35, where Russell really is at 31 a year. Wherever Russell Wilson is in the $40 million thing. Now, what they can do is wait on Patrick Mahomes to sign.
Don't do that.
Because if you wait on Patrick Mahomes, then you got a whole brand new season. You got a whole brand new season.
But here's the thing, though. When Patrick Mahomes signed, when Deshaun Watson signs, guess what the average goes up? So you're talking about $40 million, you're talking about 38, and you're talking about 36 with Russell. Where do you think Dak Prescott think he's going to fall?
And I'm with you on that. I'm saying if Patrick Mahomes signs, then that number's going to rise. But it's still a gamble for Dak.
I'm willing to take a gamble.
That's all I'm saying.
I rolled the dice this year. Yeah. Guess what? I navigated the minefield, Mike, and I came out on the other side. I can't give you a discount. I can't.
He navigated the minefield.
Yes.
Dak could barely raise his arm in that Philadelphia game.
You don't need to raise your... They got the red deposit. You ain't got to pick up no check.
If you would have heard...
They got the red deposit. You ain't even got to lift no check.
Okay, all right. Well, I want him to be able to go get it. I'm just saying, I hope to God nothing happens to that kid.
It doesn't happen.
It'll
Michael Irvin, do you realize what the game he's playing right now? He has no use for Dak Prescott.
I got all the use for Dak.
He wants the Cowboys to overpay Dak Prescott. So that's what he's saying.
See, that boy, Skip, you've been dealing with him all these days. You know he has an end game to that game that he's playing. But Dak's a smart guy, man. Dak's a smart guy. I'm just saying you got to be in charge of your own situation. Go get all the money you can, but make sure you cross that road on risk versus reward. And if I got $100 million in the bank, then I don't mind risking it. But when I don't have that in the bank,
that's why I'm good. That's why I'm going to sit right here. I ain't going to risk it nothing. I'm sitting here in the house. The storm going on outside. I done boarded up inside. I navigated the season.
All right.
You're the guy who gave Dak Prescott Fs for maybe 10 of his 16 games.
I didn't give him anything. He earned those grades I gave him. Did you see him in New Orleans?
You said wait, he said Dak played poorly this year?
Yes.
A couple
of times.
Mike, you're 8-8. How good did he play? Because let me tell you what the good quarterbacks did. Lamar Jackson, did he play good?
Yeah, Lamar played
Russell
well.
Wilson, did he play good?
Yeah.
What about my homeboy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did they go?
They played well.
Where did they go?
Where are they?
Where did they go?
And where are they?
But your guy didn't even make the playoffs.
Wait. Well, let's answer some questions
3-0.
first. You asked where they go. I said, where are they?
They're home.
Right. That's what I'm telling you. But that's where everybody else is.
Russell Wilson home. Russell Wilson home with $36 million in his pocket.
Right. And Dak will be home with 36 in his.
Okay then.
But I need Dak here.
No.
I don't need him home with 36. I need him here with 35. Can you take 35 and get
I
here?
cannot.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't nothing you came by with 35 that you can get with 36. You can still get the same
Well,
thing.
you should have told Jerry that. Instead of buying a $250 million yacht, buy a $150 million yacht. He need to have an extra $10 million for that. Well, tell him that.
There's no salary cap on yachts.
Ain't no salary cap on what I can make either.
And I love what Jerry and them always said. Listen, we don't keep the money. Yes, you do. Jerry. Yes, you do.
Okay, so look ahead. Is Mike McCarthy the answer for the Dallas Cowboys?
Let me tell you why I do like Mike. And, at first I wanted to splash higher. But I think about this team. This team needs someone that has traveled that path before. That's someone that can stand before them and say, hey, listen, how can others tell you what they do not know? How can they take you where they did not go? I have gone there. And now let's put a plan together to get you there with the talent that you have in this room. So maybe they won't have a fear of him, but maybe they have a reverence for him, and then they will follow
Mike
him.
McCarthy standing there talking and Jerry's behind him.
You
know Jerry's the coach of the team.
That's not true,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
That's not true. I was there. I know how that thing played out. I work with Jerry all the time.
How did it work out after Jimmy left?
They won.
I got a ring.
Yeah.
I got one sitting at the house.
With Jimmy Guys?
I got one.
With Jimmy Guys?
Oh, with Jimmy Guys, I got the ring. Jimmy, what do you mean Jimmy Guys?
I'm saying, after Jimmy stopped putting it together, what you got?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Now, I can answer that better if you say, after you left, what did they have?
No.
Because after I left, that's when things
Hold on,
went
you were
down.
still there in 96? You remember you came to Denver in 98 and we beat
I remember winning a Super Bowl and calling coach, hey, man, just thinking about you. And we won the Super Bowl without him. I don't know what you're talking about.
That been 25 years ago. We were young then.
That's when I was playing. I know.
We were young.
Right. But I'm just saying, Jimmy wasn't there. Jimmy wasn't, and we still, as a matter of fact, that became one of the cries. After that game you guys just talked about, that's all we talked about. Let's show the world that we can win, even though our coach is not here. Give Coach all the credit in the world, man, because Coach was the man.
Y'all gave him all the blame.
But we needed to prove that we can win that Super Bowl.
Do you feel bad for Jason Garrett after what they put him through?
Yes, I do. He's a great friend. I do feel bad for him. I feel badly because I know he wishes things would have worked out in Dallas.
How can they work out?
And they just didn't work out.
When the man second guess. Just imagine, if your boss, every time you say something on television, he second guess you public. Well, Michael shouldn't have said that.
Let me tell you, man. Jerry, y'all can say what you want about Jerry. Think about this. Jerry took a $150 million investment and made it $5 billion. And all of us out here who doesn't have anywhere near an inkling of that want to tell Jerry what to do. Jerry's sitting there saying, my decisions have worked well for me. Why should I listen to y'all? Now, you see what I'm saying? His decisions have worked well for him.
You're right.
Why should he listen?
In the last 25 years, how has this coaching decision made?
Hey,
Yeah.
Shannon.
We know he can make money. We know he can make money.
Make some money.
Michael,
Shannon, next year is the year. It's
Next
going to
year will be
happen.
the year. We gonna beat Denver there. We gonna beat Denver there. That's for sure.
That's right.
So you holding on to Baltimore right now.
You could go all day. That's my fear. Michael, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
No mercy.
Welcome back to Undisputed. We are live from Miami. It is Super Bowl week as we continue to honor the life of Kobe Bryant. Following the tragic death of Kobe on Sunday, the Lakers and Clippers have postponed their game that was originally scheduled to be tonight. The decision was, quote, made out of respect for the Lakers organization, according to a statement released by the league. We are all continuing to still process the shock of losing a legend. Shannon, your reaction to this game being postponed?
Skip, I'm not surprised that this was the course that the NBA took. Although we know this is not what Kobe would have wanted.
No.
This is what made Kobe unique. Kobe compartmentalized things and play on no matter what the situation were. everybody can't deal with that. It's too raw. You see guys, Skip, that's playing. I don't think I've seen a dry eye yet in an NBA that when they talk about this or they found out the news that they're crying. Now, obviously, the Laker organization, now today, Skip, would have been Dr. Buss's birthday.
Yep.
I just thought it was going to be too much for them to play this game this night so soon after what happened Sunday. I'm not surprised. But, Skip, it's and everybody, I think a lot of people post, in the moment. D. Wade had an Instagram story that we listened to, and LeBron. And I think everybody was waiting because he had just passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list Saturday night.
Yep.
And he said he spoke to Kobe early Sunday morning. And I just can't even imagine because obviously like I said, it felt like a family member passed. But imagine those that were close to Kobe, that had a personal relationship, how difficult it must be for them to try to play a game. So I'm not surprised that this is happening, Skip, although we know what Kobe would have want to have done. But in this situation, there are more people that are grieving and unable to get beyond this currently that I think this is the right thing for the NBA to do.
To your point, we saw Richard Sherman say last night, we're going to discuss this in depth later, but he basically said that the Kobe who became a mentor to him would have said, Richard, man up.
Right.
Don't be a baby. Just go play. Do it in my honor.
Right.
We all have our own ways of dealing with this.
Right.
And they can be over here or they can be way over there. And
Correct.
I'm not going to impose my grieving system on you or Jenny or anybody else.
Right.
So it's so personal how you cope with this.
Correct.
How you navigate it and how long it takes to navigate. But there was a little part of me yesterday, before I heard it was postponed, that would have looked forward to a celebration of Kobe's life and times live on TNT tonight from Staples. And I wanted Kobe commemorated. I wanted him immortalized, but it was probably a little too soon on several levels.
Yes.
Even logistically, to pull together the appropriate celebration
Correct.
of Kobe's life and times probably was happening so fast they just couldn't pull it off.
Right.
And then you would want to have a pregame ceremony featuring, who knows, Magic speaking, Jerry West speaking, Kareem speaking, maybe even LeBron speaking.
Right.
And I'm not sure any of those that I just named were capable yet.
Not yet.
Of not coming completely emotionally apart on television before the game.
Right.
We don't want that yet if that's where their emotions lie right now. So in the end, it was the correct thing to do. And if I can just talk for a second about just the what seems almost irrelevant basketball game that would then be played, it seemed to me like both the Lakers and the Clippers weren't quite capable of playing because the Clippers appeared to take it nearly as hard, if not, how can you gauge? But it seemed like if you saw Doc Rivers after the game,
yes.
Whew, I've never seen Doc like that. He could not get the words out.
Right.
And he respectfully asked the media, could you please not even enter our locker room tonight because our guys just can't speak.
Right.
Well, that wasn't many hours ago.
Right.
And remember, Lou Williams, now a Clipper, played with Kobe, and he tried to tweet. I saw, I'm trying to laugh about some things that I remember about Kobe, and the next minute I'm crying.
Right.
And then I'm laughing, trying to, and then I'm crying. Well, if he's of that head right now, of that mindset, I'm sure there are others on the Clippers still in that same category. Well, now you'd have two teams whose heart might not be in playing basketball tonight. And we saw what happened. Kyrie just said, I'm out, I'm going home. Chris Paul said, I'm sorry, I'm out, I just can't do it tonight, so I'm going home.
Skip, and I don't even know how look, it's a basketball game and they love the Lakers. I just don't know how the fans get into it. Given what, they look Magic and all, but it's Kobe. Kobe is Mr. Laker. He spent 20 years in this organization. He is, and no matter what, they can win the next 5 titles. Nobody's ever going to surpass Kobe as a Laker. No. And I don't know how the fans would have been able to. LeBron could have scored 65 points and hit a game winner, and it's going to be whatever would have happened in the game good. would have been tempered by what transpired on Sunday. So I believe Adam Silver and the NBA got it correctly by postponing this game, because nobody is in the right frame of mind to play a basketball game so soon after what transpired.
We've lived in LA now for going on 4 years.
Yep.
And again, hard to quantify, but I always sense that the love for Kobe in Los Angeles is even slightly deeper than the love of Magic.
Yes, absolutely.
And you saw what happened when LeBron arrived.
Yes.
And they had the mural issues where they were battling on the murals. Right. Nobody wanted a LeBron mural because he needs to earn the mural first.
Yeah.
And Kobe is so sacred that it was blasphemy to think that LeBron would deserve any kind of mural yet when he hit town, right?
Yeah.
So that's the depth of emotion and feeling that would surface if in fact you had to try to play a basketball game tonight.
Right, and then you heard Magic, and I thought Magic was the greatest Laker, but Magic has said Kobe is the greatest Laker.
He said that the other night.
The organization lost its greatest Laker,
Yeah.
its greatest ambassador. Skip, I just believe they got it right. And I understand that the games will have to be played at some point in time, and people will have to move on. But I just think it's just too soon right now. Everybody can't, look, Skip, we look at like when Brett Favre's father, Irv, passed, and he had his best game of his career. But Brett has been able to compartmentalize so many other things. When you play as many consecutive games at the position that he played, having to deal with knee injuries and shoulder injuries and back injuries, ankle injuries, and he's still able to I'm hurt, but I still need be able to go play and be Brett Favre. Well, Kobe has been able to do that even when he was going through what he was going through in Colorado. Kobe suited up in the playoffs. He didn't miss a beat. He was able how?
I mean, he was literally in court, fly back, play game on same day.
So he was coach, and that's what made him different. That's what them people say, Mamba mentality. He had a unique ability that no matter what was swirling on outside, he could channel that, okay, that's outside. But the moment he hit the court, nothing else mattered. And so I just believe that they did get it right. Look, they're going to have to play at some point.
Sure.
The games are going to go on. The Lakers seasons are going to continue to go on, and they're going to mourn this. This is tough because it's so fresh, and it's like if Kobe was 85 years old and he had been bad health, Skip,
I know,
it'd be sad. But this is just it's tough.
And then back to the almost irrelevant basketball level. Obviously, this NBA season appears to have come down to Lakers and Clippers, right?
Yes.
It just seems like they're on a path.
Course.
They're going to collide, right?
Yep.
Maybe in the conference finals, but somewhere in the playoffs.
Right.
They're going to collide, and it's going to be for all the marbles.
Right.
I know Milwaukee can make a case on the other side. Maybe Philly if Embiid's back, but the point is, this is it. And for the Lakers, they have already lost twice to this team. Paul George is not healthy at this moment. So for the Lakers, just doing the fundamental basketball premise of, gee, if we're not ready to play this game and we lose a third game to that team, it would not be the best thing going forward for our organization just on the purest basketball level.
Skip, I think we're going to see something. I read LeBron's IG post to Kobe. We might see something from LeBron we hadn't seen. If you can, and we believe that he's playing at an MVP level. His game is about to go to even a higher level, if you can believe that. I believe the Lakers are about to take off and do something. I believe they're going to they might not say it, but I believe they're going to dedicate they're going to dedicate this season to Kobe.
Well, they will do that for sure.
And we're going to see a different Lakers team. I know, it's February, a meaningless game in February, but moving forward, I believe in their minds there will be no more meaningless games.
Well, we will see, but this is a fascinating plot twist that it could swing this whole NBA season toward the Lakers.
Because look at Skip, we saw Buddy Hield come off the bench and drop 42. Eric Gordon dropped 50, and everybody's talking about Buddy Hield's like, "Well, Kobe was my guy. This is why I played basketball." Eric Gordon channeled this. We didn't see this. We saw Sacramento. They down by 17 with 2.5 minutes to go, Skip, and they come back and win a game. Something's going on here that we've never seen before.
The universe got rocked.
Yes.
The next home game for the Lakers this Friday. So the next time we'll see them in action, and it will be emotional.
Yes.
And I don't know if it'll ever feel normal there again, truly, without Kobe.
No mercy.
live in Miami with an incredible studio audience today. Really getting used to this energy. I love it. And we got to talk about the Chiefs. Andy Reid revealed last night that the Chiefs knew exactly what they were doing when they traded up to take Patrick Mahomes with the 10th overall pick in 2017. Reid said that Chiefs general manager Brett Veach thought Mahomes was, quote, the greatest player he had ever seen. So, Shannon,
What?
are you buying
Greatest player
this?
you've ever seen?
Greatest.
What are you
Yes,
talking about?
I am buying it.
I figured.
Because that's the only way you can explain someone moving up from 27 to 10. That's the only explanation they can have. They saw something in this young man that said, you know what? Now remember, Skip, they have Alex Smith. You remember Alex Smith, the first game of the season? They went to they went to New England and obliterated them. And Andy says, even though with that, Alex Smith was a 2-time Pro Bowl player for the Chiefs. But I believe Andy thought that in order for this offense to get to where it ultimately needs to be and what it can be, I need somebody that won't check the ball down all the time. I need someone that will throw the ball over their head. And he did that. And I know people are like, well, if you thought that, why didn't you move up to number 1? I ain't gonna call no name. I know that's what somebody else is thinking. Oh, my bad, Skip. I was thinking out loud.
Wait, is it my turn?
No.
Thank you.
I was subconsciously thinking that, forgot I had a mic on it so he could just hear me. Hear my
happens
thoughts.
sometimes.
Patrick Mahomes was 13-16 in his college career. And you're like, well, why would anybody take him? I played with a guy that was the first ballot Hall of Famer, went to 5 Super Bowls, won 2. You know what his career college record was, Skip? 20-23, and he was the number 1 overall draft pick. Someone saw something. Andy Reid said, if I get that guy, the sky's the limit. I believe it because there's no other explanation, Skip, you have that can answer why you would move up. They gave up an additional 1st and 3rd round pick to get him. So for them to do what they did, it tells me that they believe that he was that Andy listened to his guy and believed he was the greatest player that he has seen.
To me, last night, Andy Reid on camera, national TV, spewed the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard. I've ever heard. This is such revisionist history. Oh, my GM said he's the greatest player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Think about that. I've ever seen. Now, I don't know much about Brett Veach, but is that his name?
Yeah.
Brett Veach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brett Veach, just looking this up this morning, I knew his name, but that's about all. He was actually the Pennsylvania High School Player of the Year in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay.
Went to Delaware. He was a return specialist, set the Delaware record for return yards. He was a wideout. And then he became an Andy Reid favorite to the point when Andy hired him pretty much straight out of college after he got his master's degree. And he was all academic in that Atlantic 10 conference.
Okay.
He made him his primary assistant, not as in coach, just his assistant, just to be with him.
Right.
So then Andy brought Brett Veach with him from Philadelphia to Kansas City.
Correct.
And yet it felt last night like Andy wanted to put Brett Veach on the national map by giving him the biggest kudo he could give him, saying I'm giving him the credit for drafting Patrick Mahomes because we always gave Andy all the credit. Am I right?
Right.
Because it looked like Andy had seen something in this kid that prompted Andy to trade all because he controls it all.
He controls it all, right.
That he traded all the way up to 10 to get Patrick Mahomes. So I'm thinking, what could you see? I watched Patrick Mahomes a ton at Texas Tech, and he was spectacular to watch. And the main reason I watched him, it was a blast to watch him because he might throw, as he did against Baker Mayfield, for 734 yards. He also might lose the game. And your John Elway comparison is apt. It worked. I give you that. Actually, I had Patrick at 13-19, but whatever.
Yeah, I'll say 13-16, 13-19,
okay.
right.
13-19 at Texas Tech. Was he ever even a Heisman sort of candidate? No, he was not.
Right.
Was he all Big 12? He was second team to Baker, which is still pretty good. I will give you that. And he did lead his last year. He led college football in yards passing. But I'm thinking Brett Veach, had he seen Cam Newton? You didn't think Cam Newton was special when you saw him at Auburn or in junior college, if you want to go there, right?
Yes.
And what about Andrew Luck? All I heard about Andrew Luck was he's the next John Elway.
Correct.
So to me, and listen, I love Robert Griffin. We was at Baylor, RG3. he did win the Heisman Trophy, and he was pretty great at Baylor.
Right.
And then Deshaun. Listen, what Deshaun did against Alabama twice was extraordinary.
Right.
And Deshaun still is extraordinary. He doesn't have enough help. I don't think he's got the right head coach. That's just my opinion. In Houston. So you can't tell me that you took, look, you broke down Patrick Mahomes. What did Pro Football Focus say about Patrick Mahomes? They had him ranked the third best quarterback in that draft behind Trubisky and Deshaun both.
Right.
And I told you before, I didn't love Trubisky. I still don't love him, even though he humiliated my Dallas Cowboys.
Skip,
I give you that.
I think the biggest thing was, Skip, is that the air raid quarterbacks, all of them throw for zillions of yards.
Sure.
So what you have to do is that you have to look at them outside of that.
All right.
If he's not in this system, how good can he be? Because have we ever seen a guy that's not in that system, not throw for 12, 14,000 yards? Everybody seems to do it. So it's hard to evaluate a guy. It's kind of like, Skip, evaluating a guy in the run and shoot. For the longest time, evaluating a quarterback in the run and shoot. Well, hell, all he does is throw the ball, so he should throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards in college.
Okay.
That's what they were looking at with Patrick Mahomes. But Andy knew with Tyreek and the speed that he has, Skip, you can't check the ball down. We get upset sometimes with Mahomes because he holds onto the ball, takes a sack, when he could easily check the ball down. Well, Alex Smith, instead of looking for it to open up downfield, hell, he would check the ball down before the play would even develop. So Andy says, I can't win low.
Andy knew he'd hit the ceiling with Alex Smith.
Right.
It was low. Like, we can do this in the regular season. We can go win the opening night up at,
we can win the division, but we're not going to.
Then we're going to run into somebody and I'm going to say, I'm handicapped at quarterback.
Right.
I can only do this much, right?
Because to beat Tom Brady, Skip, at some point in time, you're going to have to score 30 points. You're going to have to put points. You hate to say, well, this quarterback against that quarterback because they don't play, but you got to match your scoring output. And that's what you're going to have to do. Patrick Mahomes moving forward, you're going to have to match his output. Because if you don't, you can't beat him because he's going to get to 25, 28 points. Skip, for Andy to do that was a huge risk. When, like you said, there was Deshaun Watson, whose resume is impeccable. He had only lost a handful of games. He had beat Coach Saban on the last second throw. He had lost to Coach Saban when he easily could have won that game after throwing for 405 yards. So he was right there, and no one would have blinked an eye if Andy Reid had traded up to 10 to take Deshaun Watson. But when he traded up to 10, I'm like, whoa. Like you said, Skip, he came inside on the show. And I thought he could throw the ball, but nobody saw it. It was Skip.
You were not calling him my homeboy.
No, I was not calling him homeboy. Skip, look, he's been unbelievable. And when you say he was the greatest, but it's hard for me to believe that they thought he would be this soon. Maybe later, maybe year 5, year 6. But not this the second year.
So you'll love this. I looked back last night at the draft capsules off the Combine by Lance Zierlein of NFL.com.
Right.
He's really good.
Yes.
Very smart and goes really in depth about projecting. So his best NFL comparison off the Combine for Patrick Mahomes was, you're going to get a kick out of this, Jay Cutler.
Wow.
My guy from Vanderbilt.
Really?
Jay Cutler. Because Jay Cutler's got some Brett Favre in him, huge arm, he's going to try just about anything at any moment. And Lance Zierlein concluded that we had a little spill there, but we're okay. And he concluded that Mahomes is this big, confident quarterback who brings a variety of physical tools to the party, but he has developed some bad habits in college. And Andy Reid obviously has cleaned up some of those bad habits. But still, Jay Cutler, and at that point, when I read that back before Mahomes was drafted, I'm like, okay, I get that.
The one thing that Mahomes had that Jay Cutler didn't have, Mahomes cares. I don't know if Jay Cutler ever really loved the game of football.
And you know what? You got me on that. All he was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year at Vanderbilt, which is hard to do. But I never was sure when he did care, he could be really good.
Right.
Because he was big and mobile.
Right. But Mahomes, Skip, like I said, now, Andy, they look prophetic. They took this kid and he's looked like he's the real deal, and he's going to be the real deal for the next decade.
Yep.
So they got it right.
I think Andy wanted to put Brett Veach on the map, and we are talking about Brett Veach and that outrageous statement.
Yeah. So it don't matter what he does from moving forward, Skip. He took, think about it. He got Tyreek. I mean, he rolled the dice on Tyreek.
Well, that's a big roll of the dice.
Roll the dice on
You
Tyreek.
could see Tyreek coming, but you had to live with the off the field.
Exactly. And it's like somebody's going to take it and get blowback. We might as well take it and take the blowback because we know what he represents. But Patrick Mahomes is the real deal, Skip. He's as good as advertised.
Well, I'll give you that.
And I did get to be around him a good amount in college. So I can say that his character and his leadership among the team, it was there.
Right.
I mean, you could just see the way his teammates respected him. And he's doing it at such a young age now in the Super Bowl, looking to become the second youngest QB to win a Super Bowl. And we're going to be talking about this guy all week. I'm just so happy that you can talk about your guy, my homeboy, all
just
week.
Call off the Super Bowl.
No.
We're not going to call it off. We are not going to call it off because we got too much more fun to have around here on Undisputed.
No mercy.
Yesterday, you're going to have to explain yourself.
I will.
Right here on the show yesterday, you said you thought that several other quarterbacks have had better seasons than Patrick Mahomes this year, and you included your guy, Dak Prescott, in the group. So, Skip, here's the thing. When you say those kind of things, we all take notice. So you need to explain right now if you really believe Dak had a better season
Is this a challenge?
than Mahomes. It is a challenge from all of us,
Explain yourself.
No, a lot of them don't care. A lot of people here already think, that's what happened last year.
Don't do that.
Because we got real Cowboy fans here. Thank you. Thank you. Lamar Jackson had a better year than Patrick Mahomes. I'm talking about performing at the position. Russell Wilson had a better year than Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott had a better year than Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. You were doing so well, too. You were going well, too.
Now I'm going to go real deep on you, and I'm going to push you right into a corner you will not be able to fight your way out of. Okay, let's start going down the numbers, shall we?
Yes.
Passes for first downs. This past football season, Dak was second in the NFL with 229. Mahomes was way down at 16th. How about catchable passes? Dak was second in this league. Mahomes was way down at 16th. How about big pass plays? That's 20-plus yard pass plays. That's interesting. Dak was third in the league. Mahomes was 13th. But I'm going to give you this. He missed a couple of games because of injury. So let's do pass yards per game, which only counts the games that he played.
Right.
Wait a minute. Dak had 306 pass yards per game. You used to say, he doesn't even break 200.
Yeah.
Well, he averaged 306, and that was third in the league. Mahomes is way down at 7th. That's interesting. How about completions per game? Dak was 24.3. That was tied for 5th. Not bad. Mahomes is down at 12th. That's interesting. And then how about air distance? How far did every pass that Dak attempted travel on average? That's interesting. Dak was third in the whole league on air. No Dink and Dak anymore. He's throwing it way down the field. And wait a minute. Mahomes was 13th. He's actually dinking and dunking more than you think.
Stop it.
He is. He's throwing little short outs to Tyreek, who's turning it up for 70 yards. Yak. You know it, and I know it. And then how about if we go to touchdown passes? Again, played a couple more games, but Dak threw 30. That was 4th in the league. And Mahomes was down at tied for 8th. So
tied for 8 at 26.
Well, again, but you put him in the Hall of Fame like zero ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Let's just do it on the field Sunday. Let's just put him in the Hall of Fame.
Sunday's the coronation.
So, help me out. Better weapons? I think Kansas City had way better weapons than Dak Prescott had. Would you take Kelsey or Jason Witten? Would you take Tyreek or Amari? And I love Amari, but think about this. At home, Amari caught 52 balls. He caught 78% of the passes thrown to him at home. Then he goes away and he shrinks and he disappears. He caught only 27 balls away from Jerry World. He caught 52% of the passes thrown to him on the road. So 52 catches at home, 27 on the road. And that's handicapping what Dak did. So despite all of the above, Dak just clearly outperformed Mahomes this year. Does that mean he's better than Patrick? No. But did he have a better year? Yes, he did. Patrick had, by his MVP standards, kind of a blah year, just kind of an okay year.
Yeah, because
and then all of a sudden, he pops up and gets every break in the playoffs, and he winds up getting to play Houston and getting to play Tennessee at home. Two teams that were 10-6 and 9-7. Everything broke right for Patrick Mahomes. I give you that. Here we are, and it's coronation week for Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I'm glad you understand it's coronation week. Skip, look, you love to say how many catchable balls that Dak threw. Well, my guy had 12 winnable games that he won. Your guy won 8. Case closed. Because that's what we play. At Club Shay Shay, we on the third dubs and L's. Now, what you want? You want the hot L special? Because that Cowboy special is a hot L special. You know, we're going to serve that thing up every Sunday.
Yeah.
Sometimes on Thursday, we give it to them.
You know, it is interesting. For the first 2 years we did this show together, Club Shay Shay was all about wins and dubs. And all of a sudden, you couldn't get anybody to come.
Yeah.
And you switched it to now Club Shay Shay is only for losers.
Yes.
It's only for losers.
Because when I had it for winners, I could never get Cowboys to attend. So when I lose, yeah.
So wait a second. You like to associate with Cowboys because they bring business to you. Because they are America's team. Everybody wants to eat where Dallas eats.
Because what I can do is I can tell my other customers, Dak gonna be here in the back, Zeke gonna be over there in the corner.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Skip, look, here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, boys, has 35 career starts. Only once has he been held under 23 points. Once. Dak Prescott, this year alone, 9 points against New England, 9 points against Philly, 10 points against New Orleans, 15 against Buffalo. Now, my guy, Mahomes, boy, we cool right there. Your guy, 9 points, 9 little measly point, field goal.
So, is my turn?
No.
Oh, I got more.
How about we do it like this? Mahomes boy missed 2.5 games. He was 26-5. So let's just say the 2 games that he missed were those playoff games.
Okay.
Now he's up to 34-5 with a high completion percentage, yards per attempt, and QBR. Can I interest you in that? Now you love QBR.
You could interest me in how did Patrick Mahomes lose a home game to the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday Night Football, scoring a grand total of 13 points? That's Dak Prescottian, right?
Your guy got 3 games less than 13.
Guess what my guy did?
What'd he do?
If you take most wins, if you do this historically, most wins by 30-plus points with 400-plus yards on offense and a 10-plus point differential in the game. I know that's complicated, but those kind of wins are rare in the NFL. My team this past year, even going 8-8, had 7 of those kind of wins. Guess where that ranked all time? That is 5th on the all-time list. The Patriots in 07 had 10 of those kind of games.
Right.
My team had 7 this year. Again, they were 7 of the 8 wins. And the 8th win that didn't qualify was at Detroit. It was a win. And guess what? It was the one game you gave my quarterback an A+ for.
Yeah, he played
I don't know what possessed you.
He played well.
Okay, so maybe that should be an 8th one of these, so that pops them all the way up to 4th.
You can't make it.
Well, the Hall of
be.
Famer told me that it was an A+.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking, since you like to put things in historical perspective, where does that 8-8 rank in historical perspective?
It ranks right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So they're about to what? They're 100th team to go 8-8. Skip, look, I'm not saying Dak isn't good, but to try to compare him to Patrick Mahomes is just unfair. You can't compare him to Patrick Mahomes.
I just did.
No.
It's not unfair. It's right.
Even the young lady with the Dak jersey on, she's shaking her head. She's like,
She is
like,
not. That's not true. No, she's not.
She's right there. She's like, you
I
know
can't
what?
see her, but I know she's not shaking her head.
She's like, yeah, I got on the Dak jersey, but he ain't Mahomes. That's what she's saying. I'm like, man.
Okay, what was my case? I'm not saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes because Mahomes has been spectacular. We'll see how spectacular he is against the 49ers on Sunday. I'm saying he performed at a higher level than Mahomes did this year because there were a lot of Mondays on Undisputed when we didn't talk a lot about Mahomes because he was pretty ordinary.
Because it was a whole hum. 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
We're not going to even talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Normal.
Yeah, they become normal. But Skip, see, where you jumped in at, you were wrong. They had him ranked Patrick Mahomes as the 30th best quarterback to ever participate in the Super Bowl. I said, who are the other 29 others?
Yeah.
You put Dak, when Dak went to the Super Bowl? I mean, coming down here to visit.
Well, wait, when has Patrick Mahomes been to the Super Bowl?
Right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how many rings does he have? Help me out. No, seriously.
When it's all said and done.
What has he really done?
Guess what? Next year, for the next five years, he's gonna be like this here.
Let him play the game.
What? Did you just predict he's going to win 5 straight Super Bowls?
No,
Wait. I will bet you 500 cases of Diet Mountain Dew right here, right now. He will not win 5 straight Super Bowls. 500 cases.
No. I said in the future, instead of just, I was the 10th pick in the draft, that's how he's going to be counting his rings up like this here.
Really?
Yeah.
So Tom Brady has 6 rings, and each one featured a game-winning fourth quarter drive. That's off the charts, impossibly extraordinary. Yes. Patrick Mahomes has 0 rings as we speak.
Yes.
Now, he's been coronated by you this week. I get it. And Deion called him last night, which was apropos. He called him, you're the master of ceremonies tonight, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's sort of the attitude that we're going into this week with. But he still has to beat a really good football team that can do things to nullify what Patrick Mahomes does best. So I'm waiting and seeing until Sunday before I coronate Patrick Mahomes.
But you make it seem like I'm overinflating him, like I'm overvaluing what he is. He's every bit as advertised. There's not a throw he can't make from in or out of the pocket.
Blah, 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 blah. I get all that. I hear it. He did not have a statistically better year than Dak Prescott. No. Dak outperformed him during the year. And Dak can't help it that Jason Garrett was his head coach. He can't help it because Jason was born. When Jason was born, they nicknamed him 8-8 right out of the... Really? They just said he's 8-8.
How about this here? Well, since you're just basing everything on statistics, Jameis Winston had the best year, statistically.
But he didn't have the best year because he threw 120 interceptions.
He's only got to throw for 5,000 yards, all them 400-yard games that he had, but we don't base it on that. Skip.
Okay, you want Dak Prescott or Jameis?
I want my homeboy.
Yeah, okay.
I give you everybody else, just give me him. You can have every other quarterback, I want that guy.
For some reason, somebody has jumped off the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon. Somebody's jumped off.
Whoa, you see what he's trying to do? How he trying to shift that? You want to make it about Aaron Rodgers. I've been my homeboy. What my homeboy jersey at?
Yeah, you gotta have some of those.
Everybody knows I've been on my homeboy. Oh, he's not that good. Oh, Tom Brady beat him twice. Tom Brady
actually beat him 3 times and got robbed this year.
No, he didn't.
He got robbed. The N'Keal Harry play, the Stephon Gilmore play, the Philip Dorsett play. It was like robbery, third robbery.
Hold on. You mean to tell me the GOAT, the greatest quarterback, the greatest player in NFL history, can't get the ball in the end zone from the 3 with 2 extra downs? If he that guy, he got to be able to do that.
Maybe if he had a coach who could actually coach defense.
Now you want Coach Belichick to play fullback or block somebody. It's the coach's fault.
I would like to see Coach Belichick coach defense and stop Fitzmagic from going 80 yards for a touchdown the last game. Thank you.
Not gonna forget about that one.
Yes.
Well, Coach Belichick said I wouldn't have had to do that if you don't throw that pick 6, Tom.
No.
If you stop giving them points, we got the game in hand.
Watch what happens when Tom Brady becomes a Los Angeles Charger and is in next year's Super Bowl.
How do you feel about that?
Well, Coach Belichick said I could be in this year's Super Bowl with my quarterback, Jimmy G.
No.
I could be here.
Yeah, good luck with that.
But he right now, him and Mr. Kraft talking right now. He said, Bob, I told you. Now look what we could have had.
Well, Jimmy G mentioned last night.
The Jimmy G who completed 6 passes in the NFC Championship game.
But he did mention last night he did receive a good luck from Tom Brady.
He did.
Text message, wishing him luck.
Class.
I think that was appropriate to do. I thought that was
unfortunately,
respectful.
he probably got good lucks from Belichick about 15 times.
Go do it. I know what you were capable of. I wanted to keep you here. That's what his text said.
No mercy.
Welcome back to Undisputed. We are live in Miami all week. The weather is beautiful. The guests are wonderful. And to have your support here. I want to transition to yesterday, and Richard Sherman, he shared how he channeled Mamba mentality by walking off the field with a torn Achilles in 2017, much like Kobe Bryant did several years earlier. Sherman and Kobe then became close friends as Kobe offered support and advice on the recovery, and now Sherman says he's using the memory of Kobe and lessons he taught him as he competes for another Super Bowl title on Sunday.
I was really sad yesterday, and I was sad this morning. I was kind of down. I was in the dumps, and then I just thought about what he would tell me. You know what I mean? He would tell me stop being a baby and man up and play it and do it in his honor and win this game for him. You know, and that's what we're gonna try to do. You know, I'm gonna go out there and try to play some dominating ball, just like he wanted. You know, the Mamba mentality still lives on.
Powerful to hear that from Richard Sherman. Shannon, do you like this approach?
I do. But Skip, when you hear that, that's something that's in you. That's something that a lot of people can say, but very few people can do. And Kobe was able to channel that and turn it and says, okay, this is my approach. This is how I'm going to do things. I can compartmentalize, and no matter what I'm going through, I can do it. Sherman took that same approach. It meant something to watch Kobe, and everybody talks about it. Skip, he tears his Achilles. Everybody knows what it is. As soon as he does it, he grabs the back of it, and so everybody knows what it is. He walks to the line. He makes those because he doesn't think it's as bad as it is. Yep. Because he knows if someone else shoots those free throws, he's not going to be able to come back into that game. He shoots the free throws, hoping that he can go to the locker room, get tape, look, it's just a sprain or something, and then come back out. Yep. Sherman says, okay, I saw that. I knew what it was. He said, I've been dealing with an Achilles injury. If you followed him, you knew he had been dealing with it. Said it had been tight before he tore it. Yep. It meant something to him to walk off the field. Not get carted off, not put his arms over someone's shoulder, but to walk off that field. It meant something to him. And so obviously they can bond because both had torn Achilles. Normally, Skip, especially late in your career, an Achilles rupture, it's pretty rough for the football player. I believe still that's the roughest injury that a player can have. Totally agree. Especially with the way medicine is now. They go in there and we see Adrian Peterson come back basically literally in 8 months as bionic. Yeah. Achilles from a knee. From an ACL. Yeah. But for Sherman to say, you know, I was down, but and I went back and I thought, what would Kobe say? And Kobe said, boy, stop being a baby. Get your butt up out there and go play. Correct. And literally, that's what he would say. Everybody knows that's what Kobe would say. Sweet Lou Williams was telling the story about how they got blown out in Portland, and all the guys were wearing Kobe's. Say Kobe came around and took everybody's shoes. Say, get y'all soft, you know what, out of my shoes. Y'all playing too soft. Y'all don't deserve to wear them. Wow. That was his mindset. That was his mentality. Kobe was here, and he wanted to get as many people to that level as he possibly could, and he knew it took a mindset in order to get there. So I have no problem with that. Yes, you can tell, Skip, to see the impact that Kobe has. A lot of these guys didn't really know. Obviously, in the NBA, you probably came in contact with him, you saw it. But a lot of the NFL players didn't know Kobe like that, and the impact that he has. I don't know, Skip, if we've ever seen anything like this. I don't know if we've ever seen. Want to be like Mike, but now I guess Mamba mentality, the Kobe Bryant mentality. It's just unbelievable that so many people, the values that Kobe brought as far as preparing and getting ready for games, it's been adopted by so many other players. Yep. Look, we're all still a little raw from this. This is sensitive stuff that we're talking about, and we're all built a little differently. But I saw Richard say that live last night, and it really struck me, hit me right between the eyes, because I thought, that's right. That's the Kobe I knew. Yes. That's what Kobe would have told Richard, hypothetically. Yes. Don't be a baby. Just suck it up. Right. Guts it up. Man up. Just go win this game. If you want to do it in my honor, God bless you. Right. But go win the game. And we all have different views of life and death and afterlife. So we all have to cope with this in different ways. Correct. And obviously, Kyrie just said that first night, I can't play basketball. Right. CP3 said, I can't play. The Lakers and Clippers correctly decided tonight, it's just not time yet for this. Let's postpone. Let's wait. And
there's this fine line that Kobe would say, don't feel sorry for yourself. If you want to feel sorry for my family, this is hypothetically from above, Kobe's saying, yeah, you should be devastated for what my wife and my remaining children are going through. I can't even process. But don't feel sorry for you. You got to go on. So I can only deal with this on my little level. When my father passed, I was 22, and I had taught myself my whole life, these things happen, just suck it up and go on. And I didn't miss a day of work.
Right.
My mom passed a year and 10 months ago, and you know that I didn't miss a show. It's just how I sort of made myself deal with life.
Yeah.
Because these things are going to happen.
Right.
But you have to move. You have to go forward. And maybe that's my way of coping is I just immerse myself in the show that we all love.
Right.
And everybody's got a different way. But Richard Sherman, it got me because he said it so matter-of-factly. And he wasn't tearing up or choking up anymore. I think he has been, because he said he was having some rough times there for a while until it finally hit him. And as many issues as I've had with Richard in the past, he is a deep thinker.
He is.
And he finally connected with, to me, the correct thought on this. Kobe just say, just don't be a baby. Just go.
Yep.
You know, there's a little moment of grieving, obviously, for one of the greatest players who ever played and somebody who took a piece of our hearts away with him. And it was such a shocking tragedy, because this qualifies as raw, real tragedy.
Correct.
But still, you move forward and you dedicate, and you made the case, and you could be right. Maybe the Lakers are about to dedicate and go on a run led by LeBron and maybe Anthony that will be unparalleled, to say, this is for you, Kobe. That is the way to, quote unquote, grieve. That is the way to make peace with what just happened, is to utilize it, to be fueled by it, and to commemorate it by then you be Kobe.
Right.
And you're right. We just saw two extraordinary moments last night where two young men who body and soul love Kobe, who were inspired to play basketball because of Kobe, Eric Gordon and Buddy Hield. They just did things that were Kobe-esque, right? They're not even capable of doing that.
Guy comes off the bench and drops 42.
What? And Sacramento, not that anybody cared, sorry about this for your Timberwolves. Sacramento's down 17 with 2.5 minutes left.
Yes.
And came back at Minnesota and took it to overtime and won the game.
That one hurt a lot.
Well, that's just like Kobe-esque. That's something that the universe just changed for a moment, right?
It was something, you mentioned Doc Rivers and his emotion. He said it, we are all going to need the Mamba mentality to get through this. And we just need to remember that and try to honor it. And I think it's something that's important for all of us to do as we continue to cope with the tragedy.
No mercy.
And last season, Patrick Mahomes joined Cam Newton as the second African-American quarterback to win the NFL's MVP award outright. And Sunday, he could become only the third black QB to win a Super Bowl, joining Doug Williams and Russell Wilson. But even more importantly, Mahomes also has the chance to be the very first black quarterback in league history to win both. So Shannon, what is this time?
Skip is telling me that the league is changing.
Yep.
Guys are getting opportunities, and they're showing they're deserving of these opportunities by doing what they're doing. If you look at the divisional, Skip, the last round before the championship game, Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson was 4 of the 8 starting quarterbacks. Wow. Now, when I tell you Dak is the 5th best brother quarterback, that's high praise. Look at the guys in front of him. I mean, you should take it like, okay. Jameis, he's in front of Jameis and Brissett. We only got 7, so he 5th. That's pretty good. Skip, look. If you notice something, all these guys have something in common. Skip, they're mobile. The game is moving to mobile. You look at Tannehill. Tannehill can move. You look at Garoppolo. Garoppolo can move. I believe, Skip, it's getting away from. We want the statuesque quarterback, the pure drop back passer, just throw the football from the pocket. defenses are getting better. Guys are getting stronger, getting faster, and you're going to have to be able to throw the ball on the move. And all these guys can throw the ball on the move. And at the top of the list is Patrick Mahomes. He's the closest thing that we've seen to maybe a perfect quarterback because he can throw the ball from the pocket with accuracy. But his ability to throw the ball over your head, his ability to throw the ball on the move, rolling right or left in the different arm angles and platforms in which he can throw from, Skip, is second to none. It's second to none. And for him to be able to, if he could pull this off, yes, we know that, Skip, and you talked about Warren Moon and how he had to go to Canada.
He did.
To prove he could do it up there in order to come back down here. Doug was the first round out of Grambling. Doug Williams won the Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
But for him to be able to combine those two things, Skip, at such a young age would put him at the top of the class. It's unbelievable. I'm glad that these guys are getting these opportunities. But the biggest thing, the league is changing, and it's showing that guys, when given an opportunity, they're seizing the moment and showing that, see, we could do this all along. We just needed opportunities.
Yep.
Hint, hint, black coaches.
Coaches. Agreed. Here's what's amazing and great about everything you just said. Now, Patrick Mahomes is poised to become the first ever black quarterback to win MVP and Super Bowl.
Right.
Yet, I don't know, mid-season, this past regular season, we thought Lamar Jackson was poised to become the first MVP to also win a Super Bowl because I thought they were odds-on, maybe lock favorites.
Right.
And Tennessee went and changed all that. But that does not change what Lamar Jackson was doing to the league through the regular season.
No.
He was running away with MVP. And why was that? He could throw it as deadly accurately as he could run it.
Right.
He became the best running back in pro football. I'm talking about the most dangerous, just the hardest to tackle running back, and the deadliest passer. In the red zone, he was just impossible to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about being able to speed read and say, aha, I got him.
Right.
And I will hit him right in the hands. And he changed the game. Nobody had an answer until Derrick Henry went to Baltimore and said, I'm going to keep you off the field.
Right.
But guess who else? Mid-year, who was your MVP for at least maybe Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has already won a Super Bowl, has already played in 2. So if he had kept on path and won this year's MVP, he would have become the first black quarterback to do both, right?
Correct.
And thank you for bringing up Doug Williams, because I've told this story a couple times before. I'm going to tell it again just because we're here together. I go far enough back that in 1977, the LA Times sent me to do a story on this kid at Grambling named Doug Williams. Nobody really knew much about him except he was putting up extraordinary numbers for the great Eddie Robinson.
Yep.
And I spent a week with him, and at the end of the week, I called a GM who will go nameless, and I said, how high are you going to take this kid? And the quote was, he does not have the mental capacity to play in our league. And I'm thinking, he doesn't have, I've spent a week with him. He's really a sharp kid. I see a whole big mental capacity there. Well, Tampa took him in the 78th draft, 17th overall, and the rest is Super Bowl history because he wound up with the Redskins and became the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Threw 4 touchdowns, first quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns in a quarter.
Against a team that you know, Denver, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we have come a long ways, and now we are arriving like crazy everywhere except in the coaching ranks.
Right.
But you know what? You know how this league, it's a copycat league, and once everybody sees, wait a second, black quarterbacks are the way to go, well, maybe somebody will say a black coach might be the way to go.
Because if you think of you get back to the quarterback, Skip, I said for the 8 quarterbacks, well, there's really, I think there are 8 starters. I forgot, left out Kyler Murray, go along with Jacoby Brissett and Jameis Winston. So 50% of them made the playoffs. 50% of them advanced to the divisional round of the playoffs. That speaks volume. That speaks volumes that give these guys an opportunity. And I think they're doing a better job of evaluating. I'm sure Jalen Hurts went through this. They asked him, you think about it, he's like, look, I'm a team guy. I'll do what's in the best, but I'm a quarterback. At least let the guy, Skip, can we at least let the guy fail at quarterback? If he give me an opportunity to try quarterback. And if I can't do it and I want to stay around the league, okay, I might be willing to switch positions. But I don't want to run routes. I don't want to take a handoff before I even try the position that I've been playing my entire life.
Hey, Jalen Hurts can play quarterback in the National Football League.
I think with the way the way Lamar Jackson played this year, I think a lot of guys are going to get a better looks now to show that they can throw the football than in previous.
Okay, so I still honor Tom Brady and I honor Drew Brees, but that was the way it used to be.
Yes.
And I still think Tom can play at a high level. We'll see what happens if he goes elsewhere next year.
Right.
But the point is, the game is evolving into a completely different place than we were in.
Because, Skip, you remember they said, man, that college offense, hey, man, that won't work in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now everybody's bringing the college-style offense.
That's all it is.
And basically playing in space, but you need mobile guys because you got short edges because all the receivers are trying to get out in pass plays.
No mercy.
Zion Mania hits the road tonight in Cleveland when Zion plays the first road game of his NBA career. Zion is coming off his first career double-double, scoring 21 points and grabbing 11 rebounds in Sunday's win over the Celtics. He also scored the Pelicans' last 8 points to help close out that game. So, Shannon, how impressed have you been so far?
I've been very impressed with him, Skip, especially with the amount of minutes that he's playing. He's not playing a ton of minutes, but he's played very well in those. But what's concerning, Skip, that free throws. He's 6 of 16 from the free throw line. That's 38%. But I like the fact he's only attempted 2 threes since that first game. So once he picks that free throw percentage up, you'll see him. He'll be a 20 and 10 guy.
Zion Williamson is going to go beyond Patrick Mahomes. That's how good he's going to be. Thank you. They would have won the San Antonio and Denver games. You know it. And they did win the Boston game because of him. And thank you, Miami.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports. One of one.